The workshop smelled of plasma, oil, and burnt circuitry, a scent that had become as familiar to Annabelle as her own breath. She wiped her grease-stained hands on her coveralls and glanced at the chronometer mounted above her workbench. 2,247 hours. Right on schedule. All right, you little freeloaders, she muttered, grabbing the dented metal bowl from its shelf. Dinner time. The back alley behind her repair shop had become a ritual ground of sorts. Every night, without fail, Annabelle would emerge with synthetic protein scraps, leftovers from the ration dispensers that most humans found too bland to stomach. But the cats didn't mind. They never did as she stepped into the cool Martian night. The dome's artificial stars twinkled overhead, a poor imitation of Earth's sky that her grandmother had told her about. Three cats materialized from the shadows: a scarred tabby with one ear, a sleek black female with luminescent green eyes, and a gangly orange tom that walked with a limp. "There you are," Annabelle said softly, setting down the bowl. "Sorry I'm late." Had a Jovian freighter captain who thought his fusion drive could run on hope and recycled coolant. The cats approached cautiously, as they always did, maintaining that perfect distance between wild and domesticated. Annabelle sat on an overturned cargo crate, content to watch them eat. In a colony of 12,000 souls, all scrambling for survival on humanity's newest frontier, these moments of simple connection felt precious. What Annabelle didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that 3,000 light years away, in a dimension that existed perpendicular to her own, the goddess Kalthara watched through feline eyes. One discovered Annabelle's secret by accident. The security officer had been tracking a smuggling ring through the lower sectors when his scanner picked up an unusual energy signature near her workshop. Not dangerous, exactly, but wrong. Like reality itself was slightly out of phase, he'd almost dismissed it. Almost. But 6 years in colonial security had taught him that almost got people killed. Now he crouched in the shadows, watching the mechanic feed her cats, his quantum detector humming softly in his palm. The readings made no sense. The cats registered as both present and absent, both matter and energy, both here and impossibly far away. "Those aren't cats," he whispered to himself, as if hearing him. The black cat's head snapped in his direction. Its eyes, those luminescent green eyes, locked onto his position with an intelligence that made his blood run cold. Then it looked away, returning to its meal as if he posed no threat, as if he'd been evaluated and dismissed. One made a decision that would change everything. He stepped out of the shadows. "Annabelle Reeves." His voice was steady, professional. "Security Officer Juan Mendez. I need to ask you some questions about your pets." Annabelle jumped, nearly dropping the empty bowl. "Jesus, you trying to give me a heart attack?" She looked at him, then at the cats, confusion crossing her oil-smudged face. "What about them? They're just strays. I feed them. That's not illegal, is it?" "No," one said carefully, watching the cats. They hadn't fled. Standard feline behavior would have sent them scattering at a stranger's approach. "But I don't think they're strays. I don't think they're from Mars at all. That's ridiculous. They're just—" The air split open. There was no other way to describe it. Reality peeled back like synthetic skin, revealing a wound of swirling violet light. The three cats walked into it without hesitation, and through the tear, Juan and Annabelle glimpsed something impossible. A vast throne room constructed of living starlight, and upon the throne, a figure of terrible beauty. "My children." The goddess Kalthara's voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "You have been most dutiful." Annabelle fell to her knees, not from worship, but from shock. Juan's hand instinctively went to his sidearm. Though what good a plasma pistol would do against a deity, he couldn't say. The cats, no longer cats but beings of pure energy wearing feline form, sat before their goddess. The black one spoke, its voice like silk over steel. "The human Annabelle has shown kindness without expectation of reward for 732 cycles. Her heart remains pure despite the hardships of this colony." The tabby added, "She shares what little she has. She asks nothing in return." The orange one, the limping one, said simply, "She is worthy." Kalthara arose from her throne, and even through the dimensional tear, her presence pressed down on them like gravity itself. "For 3 years, I have watched your kind struggle on this red world. I have seen greed, cruelty, desperation. I have seen humans devour each other for scraps. One felt his mouth go dry. First contact protocols had never covered divine judgment. But I have also seen this one. The goddess continued, gesturing toward Annabelle. Night after night, sharing her food with creatures she believed could give nothing back. Showing mercy to the smallest, weakest things. This is the measure of a species. Not their weapons or their ships, but their kindness to those who cannot repay it. The goddess stepped closer to the tier, and both humans could feel the weight of eons in her gaze. Humanity has been judged worthy, not for your technology or your ambition, but for the mechanic who fed stray cats in the dark. Kalthara raised one hand, and the air around them began to shimmer. Your colony will receive our blessing. Your crops will flourish. Your machines will not fail. Your people will thrive. And when you are ready to walk among the stars as equals, we will be waiting. The violet light began to fade. The cats, the spies, the divine observers, looked back one last time. Thank you, Annabelle Reeves, the black cat said, for seeing us as worth saving, even when we were small. Then they were gone. The tears sealed shut. The alley returned to normal, lit only by the dome's artificial stars. Annabelle and Juan sat in stunned silence for a long moment. Finally, the mechanic looked down at the empty bowl in her hands and laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. I was just feeding cats, she said. I was just feeding cats. Juan holstered his weapon and offered her a hand up. You saved humanity with a bowl of protein scraps. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Welcome to First Contact. As they walked back toward the workshop, neither noticed the small orange kitten that watched them from the shadows. Real this time, ordinary and mortal and mewing for food. Annabelle smiled, already reaching for her rations. Some habits, after all, were worth keeping.